Hey y'all, hey, we are back. Sisters is back. It's all the fall shows are starting to come back on, so I'm getting back into my show reviews. Last Wednesday was the season 5 premiere of Sisters on BET. So yeah, we're just gonna get right into it and jump into the review. Try to make this thing quick and painless for us both. Alright. So, like I said, season 5, episode 1 of Sisters on BET entitled Pain and Suffering. Just a quick recap. At the end of season 4, Gary is still low-key want to stalk Andy. He's upset because she's moved on and he wants to sue her for everything he's ever given her. Karen is knocked up and has suddenly started to bleed, so now she's going to be heading to the hospital. And Sabrina and Maurice, they about to go to jail because Q has set them up in exchange for no prison time in the bank robbery that he himself committed and they had nothing to do with. All right, so last time we met Gary, he was meeting with Hayden. So Fatima comes in Andy's office and she's fuming. Like, Fatima she's a little homicidal at this point. And she's wondering, like, why they talking, what they got going on. And Andy's trying to blow it off. She's like, girl, who knows? Let's just get back to work. And Tima, she just cannot focus. She cannot let go of the fact that Hayden and Gary are teaming up against Andy. Fair enough. I can understand it. All right, so she tells Andy, he's saying that you're not his lawyer, that Hayden is his lawyer. Like, what's going on? And then not only that, I hate when men call women B words. And that's what he called you in the hallway. And so Andy's like, okay, all right, bet. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you a B word. Just give me 1 second. Fatima's like trying to take her earring. She's like, no, we're not gonna, we're not gonna come to blows. Not in the office. But I'm gonna show him a B word. It commits the plan that she sets forth in the next scenes to come. All right, so we jump over to Karen, and she's at the hospital because she was bleeding at the salon, and she's not feeling well at all, but they just have to sit there and see, what results the doctors are going to come back with. And she's starting to freak out a little bit. She feels like her life is falling apart, and Pam is like, listen, this is just a moment in time. You're going to be fine. Just, she's trying to convince her otherwise. Like, your life is fine. It's going to be all right. Let's just see. Let's take it one step at a time. And she, gives her a little pep talk. Like, I admire you. I feel like you have it all together. Now, not in the love department, but otherwise, you got it going on, girls. It's not as bad as you think it is. And she's like, well, do you want me to call Zach? Girl, stop trying to be funny. So, okay, you want me to call Aaron? Oh, now you funnier. All right, so should I just call one of the girls? And Karen's like, listen, don't call nobody. You wait outside till I hear what the doctor got to say, and we'll just go from there. And Karen's phone rings, and it's her mama. And I'm not really sure if somebody called her mama and kind of gave her the little, put the bug in her ear, like, hey, Karen needs you, or she was just genuinely calling to check on her daughter and realized like her mother's intuition kicked in, and she's like, listen, something not wrong with my child, so I need to go see about her. And so mama instantly knows that something is wrong with Karen, and so now she's on the way to go see what the problem is. And Karen's like, okay, I'll tell you everything when you get here. Just, basically just get to me. I'm good for right now. All right. Jumping over to Gary, he is in there whining to Hayden, about Andy, as if Hayden is any kind of level-headed to offer him any sound advice. And so Hayden tells him, yeah, these B words always acting up, and claims that all women are just alike, and Andy, all women are just like Andy, basically taking men for what they got and hanging them out to dry, essentially is what Hayden's trying to imply, as if him and Gary are on the same playing field. And so he claims he's a player. Basically, he out here just big capping. Honestly, he just out here capping, telling Gary all kind of lies, trying to live with the guy. Because essentially Hayden is giving I hate women, but I want one type of vibes. Anyway, Gary tells him, like, listen, have you bought a woman a car before? Nah, I know. He was like, okay, cool. You say all women are the same. Like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, Fatima's just like Andy. He's like, I don't think that's really the same, but if you say so. And Gary's like, have you ever bought a woman a car? A luxury car? No, I ain't do all that. Well, have you ever bought her an apartment? No, I ain't do that either. All right, then. So we not the same. Like, you can't compare my situation to yours because it just ain't an apples to apples comparison. Apples to apples comparison, my guy. And so Hayden's like, listen, don't focus on me. Don't redirect now. You was trying to puff your chest out, and now that he took the wind out your sails, you want to get back to business. All right, cool. So Hayden tells Gary, let's just, I'm gonna get you everything. I'm gonna get everything back for you. I'm gonna get all your stuff back in blood. He didn't say that, but this is my interpretation. I'm gonna get it back in blood, and along the way, I'm gonna teach her a lesson. And at that moment, Andy busts in the door. She's like, okay, and what lesson would that be? Hayden, since you're giving out lessons, what lesson is that? All right, cool. All right, so and so he's like, well, what are y'all doing in here? Fatima, what are you doing in my office? I'm going to send you back to jail. So now his wind is back in his chest. He back puffed up. And Gary's like, listen, I'm suing you. I want my stuff back, and for pain and suffering and distress and all these other trumped up charges that probably won't stick worth a damn anyway. And so Fatima's like, listen, just let me shoot this dude. Like, Fatima is giving, I'll catch a body. I will catch Hayden's body because I just can't stand him that much. And I feel it. I feel your angst, but you got a whole lot to lose in this particular moment. So let's just dial it back. This is, Andy's the level-headed one in the situation. She's like, listen, I got it. So Andy's going to take a different approach. Andy's going to take that, I hate to say it, but not really. She's going to take the white woman way out. She's going to get through it with tears. And I'm going to tell you how when we get to that part. All right, so Fatima really want to chop his head off, but she's really trying hard not to fly off the handle. And Fatima's like, listen, I'm going to wait outside, but if, I'm here if anything go down, essentially. So she was like, I really can't be in with them. I'm going to wait outside. So Fatima's going to wait outside, and Annie just sits there. She's just tickled. Like, she is laughing at the fact that you're going to try to sue me after all that you put me through. And she was like, listen, we don't really want to put each other through this whole legal situation because you do know that I'm a lawyer and these charges are pretty trumped up. So I'm going to win the case. Like, it's not going to go that far. So do you really want to go through this? And I heard you was calling me all kind of B words. So you really trying to hurt me, huh? Like, you really trying to hurt me. Keep in mind, you bought all this stuff for me to watch me, to control me. And it's not going to go well. So let's just talk about it. And he claims he don't want no parts. I want to talk to my lawyer, so we don't really got shit to talk about. I'll holler at you later. Try to dismiss her. That's what he attempted to do. He attempted to keep his little bravado going. And okay, this is where I'm conflicted because I don't know if Andy has caught on to the game. Because at the end, we'll get to him. Because she kind of dials down the, match your bravado with bravado, and she kind of softens it down, and she's still trying to talk to Gary, but she's giving a more softer approach. She's giving tears. She's giving, oh, babe, what can we do to work this out? Blah, blah. That's how her demeanor is. Mind you, she came in kicking doors in, and then once she sat down in the chair, once Fatima went outside, it's like, all right, let's talk about it like adults in situation, which I think is a part of her strategy, but I'm going to get to it. And so she's still trying to talk to him, and like I said, all that big boy talk is now a whisper. And so she reminds him, like, listen, you put everything in my name. Like she's really just running him the list, but calmly. She's like, listen, you put everything in my name, and not only did you do that, you neglected to pay the taxes, so I paid them. So essentially, and also they were gifts. So all of these are things like it's not gonna hold up in court. Legally, they are in my name. Legally, I paid the taxes. Like, you're not going to go far. Maybe the pain and suffering. Prove it. So it's trumped up charges, but I'm going to play nice and demure so we don't have to go through this dumbass shit, basically. And so she was like, listen, I'll give it all back. I didn't even want it. I'll give it all back to you in exchange for you refunding me the tax money, and we'll call it even. And Hayden is like, I don't want to hear that. Don't take the deal. He don't want Gary to negotiate. And so Gary's like, listen, let me talk to her in private. He's like, don't do it. Listen, let me talk to her in private, and, we'll figure this out later. And so he tells Andy, I don't know what it is, why I'm so passionate about you. But then he says something that's giving big red flag. He's giving a banner at this point. And he tells her, hey, nobody makes me crazier than you. The hell? If I make you level 10 crazy, it's definitely never going to work out. Because who in the hell wants to live in that? Anyway, he can't let her go. And it was kind of giving, if I can't have you, nobody can have you type type of vibes, but maybe I was reading too deep into it. Anyway, so Andy is sitting there in tears, and Gary's sitting there in tears, and she tells him, like, listen, it's fine. Some people are good people, they're just not good for each other. And he's like, well, is he that much better than me? And she was like, listen, Robin is just a casualty of this thing. It's not really about him or anybody in particular. It's just about the fact that, you know, you don't want to admit it, but it's over. This is it. This is the end of it. But she, you know, she's saying it in a calm, quiet voice. Again, they both in tears, and they're coming to the realization, like, this all bets are off. They've done enough to each other, and this is it. This is the last white flag that can be waved between the two, just to do this amicably. And she was like, listen, I didn't want any of that stuff in the first place. I really just wanted you. And so I guess they're going to agree to cut ties after the money is exchanged and just be done with the situation. And then Andy gets to the door, and all the tears are dried away, and she looking like, basically checkmate. So she played on his emotions just enough for him to calm down on this lawsuit and to get him out of her hair, which gotcha. Like I said, you definitely pulled the white women will move with your tears. So congratulations to you. But what I hope for me and my sanity is that this is the end of the Andy and what's the dog name? Andy and Gary saga, just for all of our sakes. Now I'm sure this ain't the last time they're gonna be in scene together, but as far as them trying to pursue more romantic or romantic relationship, I hope that's it. All right. The undercover guy calls Q and tells him, like, hey, we have Maurice and we have Sabrina. And basically, he's going to get off scot-free if he testifies on the stand and gets a job. And then the undercover guy tells him, you know, I have a point of contact that can maybe get you a job, but you need to actually go to the job and do the job. So, hey, if you do that, we might be able to work something out. So Q done sat his black ass in jail, done robbed these people's bank, set them up to look like Maurice and Sabrina has something to do with it, which legally it's probably no evidence and it's probably no charges, because you would have to prove that they knew each other. It's a whole lot of legality that happened, so I'm sure they're not going to go to jail for this. Or, you know, Andy's going to figure out a way to get all this out the way. But he in there, in Maurice's apartment, cooking dinner or whatnot. And Calvin gets home and he's like, listen, where's Maurice? I've been trying to call him. And he's like, I don't know. Q, I don't know where Maurice is. And he was like, oh, okay. But you can't stay here. And Q, being the professional liar and manipulator that he is, tells Calvin, like, oh, well, Maurice said that I can stay here. So, And Calvin claims, like, oh, I need to move out, because if you stay in here, I don't want to be a part of this. And Q is like, oh, well, yeah, you should. But before you go, I cooked you dinner. And, you know, just being extra nice to Calvin as he was to Maurice, even though he just set Maurice up, right? And so Calvin's like, what are you doing? Like, something ain't sitting right with Calvin. Like, what are you doing here? Why are you so nice? Like, what? Something ain't right. But he hasn't put it together. And then in that moment, Calvin, his phone keeps ringing, and it's from the jail. Well, he don't know no damn body in jail, and he doesn't know, you know, he doesn't have the foresight to see that it's Sabrina probably trying to call, so he doesn't answer. And then he was like, all right, we're going to have dinner, but don't do too much. We're going to eat this dinner because it look kind of good. So Q is probably trying to keep an eye on Calvin to make sure that Sabrina can't contact him while she's in jail. All right. Karen's mom gets to her, and I don't know if y'all noticed, but that is not the same. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. That's not the same white woman that was in the other seasons, but we're going to proceed as if she is, because I don't know. Because sometimes these networks be killing me with changing out characters like we didn't know. Like, y'all can't give me like a little paragraph at the beginning. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, it's not the same lady. It's all I meant to say there. But anyway, she tells her mama that she's pregnant and that she's bleeding and that she's waiting on the doctor's results. And she's scared because she really wants that baby. Now, my hope is that she wants that baby because she genuinely wants the child, and not because she wants to use it as a pawn to lure Zach back into her life. That's my hope. Anyway, mama asked her, like, where's the baby daddy? And she was like, listen, mama assumes it was Zach, and mama assumes that it was Zach and tries to call Zach. She's like, no, mama, don't do that. I'm not sure. It's between Zach and Aaron. And mom tells her, like, listen. And she also tells mom, like, Zach has moved on. And mom was like, okay, he's moved on, but I can tell that you still love him. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to be. And she's like, listen, you're not gonna get over Zach overnight. And she tells Karen, she's like, it's the same thing with me and your dad. Like, he didn't keep a job. I was the breadwinner, like all of these things. And then, we ended up breaking up. Sometime later, he ends up getting with another woman, and he was kept a job, kept things going. He was all these things that I wish he had been to me. And it pissed me off to see another woman reap the benefits of the man that I cultivated, essentially. And so, while it was hard, I just had to let it go. Now, I ain't gonna say I let it go in a day, an hour, none of that, but I had to get over it. It's essentially the lesson that Karen's mom was giving to her. And, makes sense. And she tells her, like, listen, take all that love and just put it into that baby. Just cultivate that child, and put all that love into that situation. And Karen is like, okay, so what if he's the dad? Okay, fine. Like I always told you as a kid, live in this moment. We don't look so far into the future that you can't just be a part of what's happening right now. And essentially we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Like, if he is, wonderful. If he ain't, we'll still be fine. And I think that Karen needed somebody outside of her friends to come in and give her a difference of opinion. And I say that because while her friends are making good sense, sometimes it is hard when you have multiple, like, especially when you're in a friend girl group of more than one or two women, it is hard to hear 3 or 4 people telling you what you need to be doing, how to do it, why to do it. Like, it's hard. It feels like you're being ganged on. So her having that one-on-one with her mama is probably what she needed to kind of help her adjust her mindset and how she's thinking about this whole Zach situation. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if the baby is fine, it doesn't matter who the daddy is. It's going to be a great deal of your responsibility. So you're going to have to let the Zach situation go. Like she said, one day at a time, and just, go with it. All right, Aaron. Aaron stops by the salon, and he is frazzled because he was trying to get in contact with Karen all day, much like everyone else, and he's not getting any answers. And he tells Pam, like, listen, do you know where she is? Of course, Pam knows where she is, but she's been sworn to secrecy. She can't tell nobody where Karen is. And so, Aaron's like, okay, well, I'll just sit here in her booth until she gets back. And Pam's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to go and wait for her to call you back. You're not going to sit here. We finna close. Why do you want to sit in here? And he knows something is going on, but again, Pam is stalling. At the same time, a little bit later, Andy shows up, and he asks Andy, like, have you seen Karen? And she hasn't either. And so now he wants to talk to Andy in the back room. And so they're just kind of going back and forth, talking in the back room. And he's like, listen, do you know something? Do you know what's going on? Like, I just want to be there for her. And Andy reminds her, like, listen, the more you push, the more she's going to push away. That is how she copes. She's that type of person. When she's going through something, she's processing. She likes to do it, by herself, or, come to people when she gets ready. So the more you try to force your way in, the more you're going to push her away. So just give her the space. She asked for the space. Just give her the space. There's nothing you can do about it. And, like she said, that is how Karen copes. And then she was like, okay, you got questions for me? Now I got questions for you. Did you tell Gary to sue me? He's like, no. So basically she's bartering information. I'll tell you more about Karen if you tell me more about the advice and the relationship that you have with Gary. Which is probably going to be beneficial when she's putting her plan in motion against Gary. Whatever the plan is. I'm not real sure at this point. But whatever that plan is. All right. So she is bartering the information, and for some reason, Aaron feels like Gary is a great guy when he's not angry. Have you ever just sat down and listened to him when he wasn't angry? And essentially, when he not being a homicidal maniac, he's a great guy. And Andy tells him, like, yeah, that's too bad. Too bad he's always angry. Like, yeah, he could be a great person, but when he's angry, he is not. So what you want me to do with that? And so he was like, well, maybe you'll understand him better if he tells you more about his past and his mom. And we just got 100,000 excuses for Gary. And Andy's like, listen, it's a little bit too late for all that. It's too little, too late. And I don't have any. I can't do nothing else with that. In the meantime, you breathe. You be easy. You have a good day. All right. So now, what's his face is gone, and Pam and Andy are talking. And Andy knows that Pam has the information. She knows what's going on, but she's not going to tell her. And so she's still trying to call Karen, and of course, she gets nowhere in the conversation. All right. Earlier in the episode, Zach came to the law firm to pick up Fatima to take her on a date. And the date is the parking lot. Is it right outside of? I think it's right outside the law firm, outside somewhere. And this is the place where she hit him in the car when they first met. He was riding a bike, and she hit him with her car by accident. And he told her, like, essentially, like, the stars aligned that day, and they met at that moment. Like, had she been on time, or had he not been running late, had she been on time to work, or a minute earlier, or whatever the sentiment is, they would not have crossed paths. So this spot is significant to them, as this is the place they met. And he's not sure, what good he put out in order to get such a great person, but he's gonna do the best by her. And also says, like, okay, if things get too bad, just promise that we can always come back here. So that was just a sweet moment. I don't think they've been dating that long. I don't know. It's given months, maybe weeks. I don't know. I can't remember in TV world how long they've been dating, because Karen, I don't know if Karen's 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I can't remember. Either way, it ain't been that long. So it was cute enough. It was a cute enough. It was a cute scene. All right, at the jail, Sabrina is ready. They dragging her in they walked her into jail, and the lady is telling her, like, the lady officer telling her, all right, you need to strip down. You need to. Is that your real hair? First of all, it was a black lady. You knew that wasn't that girl's real hair. You did too much. You knew that wasn't Sabrina's real hair. Sabrina, being the good Samaritan she is, has probably never even gotten a traffic ticket. So she's just in this new environment, and she's like, listen, ma'am, I didn't do nothing. I don't have no business here. Like, I'm not getting naked. I didn't do nothing. I'm not putting on these clothes. And you know these are faux locks, because the lady was like, is that your real hair? She was like, Sabrina's like, listen, you know these are faux locks. You know that this is a process. Like, what do you mean take it out? She's like, okay, well, if you don't want to take them out, we're going to cut them out. Why would you cut this lady's hair out? You're a black woman, and if I'm not mistaken, the guard herself had like braids or something. So you know it's a process. So stop acting stupid. But anyway, so she gets on the intercom, oh, we got an unruly detainee, blah, 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 blah. And so now they're basically going to drag her off. She's asking for a lawyer, and they don't want to hear it, because at booking, it's not, that's not the part of the legal process where you can ask for a lawyer. So they don't want to hear it. They just want to get you dragged to the back, booked, and dressed out. And so that is what they commence to doing. All right. So Danny's trying to reach Sabrina, and Cowboy shows back up at the counter, and she thought he was gone. He was like, yeah, I thought I was gone too, but he realizes that, okay, the scene was a little bit confusing, so give me a minute. He realized that he loved Danny, right? So he came back to give her one last opportunity to tell him how she legitimately feels. We all know that Danny struggles in this department, so it's difficult. And also, they have not known each other that long, okay? And he admits, I got some bad advice, and I jacked up, I screwed up, and but I know you feel something for me as well. But he also goes on to tell her a story that when he began telling it, we thought was insignificant. He tells Danny about a girl named Mindy. Mindy has been in love with Cowboy since her elementary days, just up until they became adults. And he decided that he wanted to see what else the world had to offer. And he needed to take a break. He wanted to see what else is out there. Sow his royal oats of sorts. And he needed to do it. He needed to do that for him. And he didn't think that experience was significant in his life until this very moment. And he realizes that as he thinks back on it, Mindy to this day, I got an email. Mindy to this day still loves him. Mindy still loves him like no other woman has ever loved him, in his opinion. And He has been running after Danny instead of cultivating the love that already exists in Mindy for him, right? And then he tells her, I'm going to get on this plane and I'm going to take Mindy back to that playground where we met and ask her to marry me. Unless you tell me not to. And while that might sound like a ooh and a ah, and they had beautiful music playing over the soundtrack as the backdrop and all these other good things, it pissed me off. Because what you did is you weaponized your proposal to force Danny into making you stay. Like, there was nothing romantic about that. You told me that Mindy loved you better than you loved your damn self for the vast majority of her life. Never said you loved her back, but that she loved you. So first of all, Mindy's getting the short end of the stick because you're gonna settle with Mindy because Danny don't really care for you if you stay or go. That's what I deduced. For one. For two, now you put all this weight on Danny's shoulder for her to make your lifelong decision. Oh, well, if you tell me don't go, then I won't go. Now, this is a lifelong commitment. This is a very big decision. And you hand that weight to Danny. That's weird to me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, Danny was kind of speechless, and she didn't give an answer. I'm sure that'll happen in the next episode. But that just kind of pissed me off because, sir, if you want to go marry Mindy, why are we here? Why are you at my desk talking to me about it? Go get your girl. Go get your girl, for one. And for two, Mindy still loves you. When's the last time you and Mindy hooked up? Because ain't that much love in the world for me to still be holding since middle school. I don't even remember none of them folks in middle school. What do you mean? 2. 3. I don't know what number I'm on. Anyway, it didn't give me romance. It gave forcing somebody's hand to do something, or making a decision that you yourself are not willing to make. It was giving a whole lot of things that I didn't appreciate myself, but what the hell can I do about it? Anyway, that is it. We did see a little couple previews for the next episode. We see that Danny's going to walk in on Gary and Andy, and that just pissed me off. So I'm just going to leave that at that. And that is it, guys. That is season 5, episode 1 of Sisters on BET. Let me know what you think about the episode. Let me know what you think. I typically do predictions for the season. Let's see what we're going to do for predictions. Andy and Gary, while I want to say that they're done, I doubt that they are. So Gary and Andy are probably still gonna hunch on each other for a little while, but I feel like it's a part of Andy's grand scheme to break him down as much as he broken her down. I feel like she done got her power now, so she's on that tip. I feel like Fatima and Zach are gonna, figure out things once we figure out who that baby daddy is. Karen might start to be able to live with the fact that Zach ain't coming back. Maurice and Sabrina are going to have to utilize Andy to get up out of this sticky situation that Q has put them in. Hopefully Q can go off to prison and just leave everybody alone. Calvin and Sabrina can continue to stay away from each other. And all right, yeah. So that is it. Again, let me know what you think about the episode. Y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever. Like, comment, share, or subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.